So in this segment, we're going to be talking about the young have no hope of owning their own homes and no reason to vote Tory, which is important because home ownership for the for millennials, forget about it. I mean, Zoomers have got even less of a chance. Let's be honest here. For many of those who vote blue at every election, a vote for the Conservatives is a vote for low taxation, wealth creation, and restrained public spending. Now, wealth creation only for the rich, low taxation definitely not, and restrained public spending, I guess. But public spending is important. It just depends what you spend it on. The Tories have long been the trusted party to balance the books. I mean, have you seen the last decade? Before COVID, they did not balance the books. Protect household wealth for those willing to work hard for it. Again, the idea that the Tory party is there for the strivers, simply not the case. If you look at the way wages have grown over the last 10 years, it's non-existent. Yet now Tory Britain is facing an existential crisis. For now, we've ended up with tax-guzzling government hell-bent on squeezing the life out of second home ownership. And again, second home ownership that's one of the reasons why younger people can't get on the housing ladder, because of landlords and second home ownership. But for the nation's younger voters, the future is very bleak. Graduates are now leaving university with unfathomable amounts of debt, stagnant wages, surging inflation. That's if you're lucky enough to find a decent job that's in your field or something out of it. I know the struggles, trust me. Most dispiriting of all are ever-rising house prices, which mean many adults have no real prospect of even ever buying their own home, and it's incredibly difficult to buy your own home, especially given how expensive rent prices are, and the fact that a lot of people don't want new homes to be built because it keeps their house price high. That's something Phil talks about a lot. Figures this week reveal that property prices are now close to 22% higher than in March 2020. That was, 2 years ago. Just over 2 years ago, the properties have gone up by over a fifth. It's madness. Genuinely madness. How are people meant to afford that? The only hope for many millennials is the bank of mum and dad or an inheritance windfall, and that's if you're incredibly lucky that your parents can lend you money, or someone passes away in your family, which isn't incredibly lucky. That's incredibly unfortunate that you're in a country where you're relying on someone to die for money so you can buy a house. I mean, that sounds very dystopian. And therein lies the Tory party's problem. Even now, in the thick of the leadership contest, we're now being fed soundbite politics instead of sound economic policies that could go some way to fix the property problem, because at the end of the day, they're both trying to outright wing each other. They're both focusing more on the culture war and, really flawed economic ideas. So far, the only stance taken have been pledges to cut housing targets, so effectively, building less houses, which is meant to help the housing crisis somehow. I mean, I can't square the circle, guys. I don't know if you guys can. In the face of Labour's reckless public spending, which isn't true, in the wake of Brexit, it was the party we elected to restore the national and economic pride. I mean, they were elected before Brexit, though, so that doesn't even make sense. I mean, yes, there was a coalition, but still, a lot more people voted Tory back in 2010 to, restore the national pride and economic pride. Did it happen? No. Stagnant growth over the last 10 years. Britain has ended up with the largest tax burden in modern history, highest tax burden I think for 70 years, and a generation of young adults who are up to their eyeballs in debt because of uni, typically, and see the wealth they enjoyed by their parents and grandparents as simply unattainable. And I thought the whole point was each generation is meant to do better than the last one. It feels like the exact opposite is happening, where each generation will do consistently worse than the last one, especially as we enter into another recession. That's going to be fun, isn't it? We had the 2008 one, now we've got this one. How willing will these young voters be to forgive the Tories? And again, young people don't typically vote. It's a massive problem. I wish more people my age and younger voters, depending on how the age brackets work nowadays, actually voted. I really do, because that's the only way you're going to get politicians to listen to you, is to actually vote. But any young people who do vote Tories, unless you're rich or a moron, what the hell are you thinking? But the question is, are they going to vote again? And if they are, who will they vote for? Because the Tories aren't the party for the aspirational. They are the party for the rich. The ones that have made it, effectively. A place on the property ladder and a war chest of wealth are two good reasons to vote Tory, but the party is fast running out of supporters. Again, where is this war chest of wealth? Where is that? That's a myth. Especially when the Tories are meant to be better on balancing the books. That doesn't make any sense. The idea that you're going to get richer under the Tories, not unless you're on a significant chunk of change. Talking massive amounts of money here. It's not going to happen. Property ownership will be very difficult for a lot of people my age, unless you're incredibly lucky, you can live at home, for example, and you can save up money for a deposit, or your parents can lend you money, or you have other means, or you're just incredibly wealthy off the bat, or you have a very high-paying job, higher than the average for your age group, you're going to struggle to get on the property ladder. And even then, banks can be douchebags about affordability, because they don't account your rent in affordability. At least some of them don't, which is ridiculous. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you're a young person, you vote Tory, and you're somehow watching this video, let me know what you think. Are you still going to vote Tory? Because if you are, what the hell is wrong with you? Support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.